Hello, today I'm going to demonstrate how to format a schematic advanced for radiomuseum.org. For details, you can also refer to the Radio Museum Handbook in Section 6. Okay, so it all starts with good scans. You set your scanner resolution to 300 dpi, set the image type to grayscale, and save it as a TIFF if you can for best resolution. For copyrights, Sam's PhotoFax 1963 and earlier are not under copyright. You can use those. Manufacturer schematics and service information are okay to use. That's going to be my demonstration today. And almost all of the writers and the Beatman schematics have already been scanned. They are available from existing model pages. So how to format a schematic advanced. Now the difference between my earlier video, how to format a schematic basic, and the advanced one. The basic version assumes that the scanned schematic manual page has a very clean background. It's pretty much white background and there's not a lot of artifacts. My demonstration today, I'll have an aged document where the background is tan color and it's different shades of tan. So it's going to be more difficult to try to convert that to a white color. We're all going to be using, both versions use the OrphanView software, and in my first video, how to format a picture basic, I go into more detail on OrphanView. So I'll refer you to that if you need to find more information on that. We open up the file, rotate if needed. These are shortcut keys, L or an R. Crop it, shortcut Control Y, and then resize, resample. Decrease the color depth will decrease the file size. Do a color corrections to increase the contrast, and then finally down in the palette we're going to edit palette. We're going to double click on the lightest colors. We're going to choose those lightest colors and convert them to white, and then you may have to repeat this a couple of times. That's what's different between the basic and the advanced. We may have to repeat that because there may be different shades of background that we have to convert. Lastly, we'll save it. All of these schematics and the technical documents are saved as a PNG file format. They have a limitation of 7,000 by 7,000 pixels and file size no greater than 1 megabyte. Okay, the file structure is going to be manufacturer. The separator key is the underscore, model underscore, and then what it is. Then lastly, if there's artifacts that are remaining that need to be erased, I use just a Windows Paint program, just a simple program, or you can use your own image editing software and just use those tools basically to cover up those paint defects. Okay, so here are the three images that a user had sent me, and we're going to convert these and get them formatted. So you can see the backgrounds here. These are really aged documents, and they got these tan, and there's different shades of tan in here. That we'll have to work on. Could be problematic. Alright, so let's get to the demo. Open up OrphanView. Here's the standard Windows tabs across the top here. Let's go ahead and open up the file. So drill down to your folder. I'm already there. I've created an empty folder here, RM, for Radio Museum. That's where we're going to store the formatted files for upload at a different time. Got 3 pages. Here's the title page. Here's a specifications page, and then here's a schematic page. So let's open up the title page. Okay, here it is. We don't need to rotate. If we did, it's here under image. Here's rotate left, rotate right, L or an R. And if we needed to crop it, first you have to draw a box. And so you just get in one corner, hold down your left mouse button key, draw a box, and then go over here to, I think it's edit. And here it is here, crop selection, Control Y. Now I'm not going to crop that, so I'm just going to come back out here, clip it. Okay, so now it's in the right format, it's been cropped. So let's do a resize here. And we're going to use centimeters here for the units. And whichever one is widest, the width or the height. You want 27 centimeters. So the width is the limiting factor here. The height is less than 27. Make sure your preserve aspect ratio proportional is selected. It should be the default. And if you don't have 300 here, DPI, put in 300. Okay. Okay, next we need to do is to decrease the color depth. Okay, and that's going to decrease the size of the file. And we're going to use a custom 4. You may have to play around with this number. It depends on how different the background is here, how many shades you might need to try to zero out to white. We'll try 4. Now you notice I've got this box clicked here, Make Grayscale Image. These images were not grayscale when they were sent to me. They're in color. So I usually just leave this clicked. Even if this is grayscale, it doesn't hurt to leave this clicked. There. So now we're going to grayscale. Now let's increase the contrast. That's under color corrections. And the rule of thumb here is you'll put a 77 here, gamma 0.46 here. And you can play around with these numbers to get better images. You just have to experiment. Now if you click this box right here, Save Values on Exit, next time you come in here you don't have to re-enter those numbers. Now to see what that looks like, there's a little bitty image of what it looks like here, but to see the whole image down here, just click it. And there you can see it's a lot more contrast. Click OK. Okay, now what we're going to try to do is get these background colors, shades of gray, to white. So we're going to do that under Image, Palette, Edit Palette. Okay, so we'll pick the lightest one. That's this gray right here. That's going to be this gray shade right here. Click it. It's highlighted in red. Now double click it. And then here's the color palette. You can click any of these boxes and that'll replace it. We want white, pure white. So click that color right down there. Okay, that took care of that one. Now let's go to the next lightest one. That's going to be this shade right here. Let's click on that, double click it, and let's make that white as well. Okay, great. That looks pretty good. Okay, so the last thing to do is to save it. That's going to be Save As. That's going to be under File, but I'll just go ahead and type S. If you haven't already selected PNG, come down here under Save As Type and select PNG. I usually just leave this compression level up here at 9. Okay, and then make sure you're in the folder. I'm already in it. My RM folder for that model. And then let's put a file name in here. Manufacturer, Panasonic. Underscore, model number, RJ3200. And then what is it? It's the title. Page. Title. Okay, and let's save it. And then when that goes away there, it's been saved. Let's go take a quick look. Alright, here we go. Here it is. And so we're under 7,000 by 7,000. And our file size is 391 kilobytes. So we're good there. Alright, so now we're going to grab the second page. Okay, so let's go up here and grab page 2. Okay, specifications. Alright, now let's just do a little cropping on this one down here. And the corner down here is a little bit of a problem area. So let's crop this out. We'll come right up to that edge, like so. And that jumped a little. Move over a little bit. And then let's get the corner up here at the top. Okay, now let's crop it. And that was a Control Y. Okay, that looks great. Now we're going to do a resize. And the height is the limiting factor here, 27 for the height. Width is less than 27. Let's put 300 dpi in. Good. And let's decrease the color depth here. We're going to go to 4 in gray. Grayscale, there. Let's do the contrast improvement. Let's try it. Okay, looks good. All right, now we're going to convert this one and this one to white. All right, go down to Palette, Edit, pick the lightest one, gray. There's red. Okay, double click it, convert to white. Good. And then we still have this down here. That's going to be this next lightest shade. Double click it. There it is. White. Okay. So it did get rid of it pretty good. Alright, so now let's save that. And so this is now you can just type the first letter of the last word, the last name, P, and it'll pull it right up. And you can backspace. Okay, so this is going to be the spec. So I'll just say spec there. And let's go double check it. spec. So less than 7,000 by 7,000, 186 kbytes. That's great. Okay, now the last page, schematic. It's going to be more troublesome here. Okay, let's grab it. Okay, so we got more trouble here. Okay, so we don't need to crop anything. Everything looks great there. So let's just go down straight to the resize. And the width is the limiting factor, 27 centimeters. Height is less than 27. And let's put 300 dpi here. Okay, let's reduce the size, convert to grayscale. 4 grayscale. There. Okay, and then let's increase the contrast here. And let's apply it to the original. Okay. And then we got to try to convert this color. Now we're not going to be able to do this color here because that's going to be the black, which is the same color as the lettering. Alright, so let's do what we can. Edit. Let's pick the lightest one. Click it. That's highlighted. Got a red block. Double click it. Convert to white. Okay. And let's try to get this one to white. That's just going to be this shade right here. Select it. Double click it. White. Okay, and that's the best we're going to do. We've got some artifacts here that we'll have to take care of some other way. Alright, so let's save this. And I'm just going to click on one of these. That'll pull the name up too. And we're going to call that schematic. I'm going to say SCH1. Okay, let's go check it. Okay, there it is, and we're less than 7,000 by 7,000, 346 kbytes, so that's not a problem. Okay, so we're done with this program here, and close that out. Now we're going to use, I'm going to use Windows Paint, simple program to try to get rid of those problem areas. Let's open up, and here it is here. Okay, so we want to get rid of this here. And the easiest thing to do is to use one of these shapes. I use a rectangle. And I select outline, no outlines. Fill, I want to fill, and I want white. So we're going to basically use it like an eraser. And just hold down your left mouse button. And I'm going to get rid of this stuff on the side here too. Alright, so let's do this. So you can just come down here and just erase all this stuff. Let's increase that, and then let me move over here, and we'll go straight across here, get rid of that, and let's get rid of these little artifacts up here, and a little bit ones here, like so, little one here, whatever that is, a few things here. So you can see how easy this is, just to like using an eraser, going through here and drawing blocks, rectangle sizes. Don't erase any lettering. You just draw some smaller blocks, like so. That's pretty good. Add a little speck there. And now this, I'm going to leave this alone in here because I'm not sure what's going on with that. There's some wiring in here. I want to get rid of these lines that are out here. Like so. Here's a little artifact there. And there's a little speck right in here. And you can spend as much or as little time as you want trying to fix these things. But there's little specks all over. Okay, let's do this one. Oops. Okay, so that's a little too high. Don't erase the title down there. Okay, that looks good. Let's go back over here. Drag it all the way over. Okay, that looks good. Alright, now let's get rid of this here. Like so. Okay. Just make sure you don't erase some of the schematic when you're doing this. Great. Okay. That looks pretty good. Alright, so let's save this. And I'm going to save it as a slightly different file name, PNG. And I'm going to call it a 1A. In case I want to go back to my original. Okay, now let's look at them both. Okay, so here's the uncorrected one, and there's the. Now it looks like I missed a spot right down there. Okay, so let's go down and do a quick fix on that. And this time I'm just going to open up 1A and then go down here to the very bottom. Yeah, so I know I missed this. There we go. Okay, now we'll save it. Okay. Now let's go back and double check it. Okay, here's the original, and there's the much improved. Okay, let's double check the size. So we're going to delete, well, this size is 388K, that's good. So we're going to delete this one, and then I'll just rename this one, the original name. Okay, there we go. So that's how easy that is. Once you've been through the technique, some of these are more difficult than this, but this is a typical one that we would do. So this now concludes the demonstration of how to format a schematic advanced.